The rail raft rockets forth. Lane hoots and cackles while Rigo winces, eyes mostly shut. For Cael's part, he just likes the reminder of how it feels to captain his own boat and to stand at its helm, as if he's the knife that cuts the sky in half, wind sliced in twain, rushing on all sides. They got the raft moving pretty fast by jamming a pair of dry, broken corn stalks against the earth, stalks they'd taken on the first morning of travel to use as makeshift oar poles. The brace roots were thick, the stalks were stiff. Rigo asked Cael if he could use the butt end of Pop's lever-action rifle, but Cael shot him a look that contained the singular message of, "Have you lost your cotton-headed mind?" Only took a minute or two to really get the raft zipping along. The tracks ahead of them are a steely blur. Individual railroad ties smear together in a single dark streak. The corn, too, is just a blend of green, like so much spilled paint. Ahead, a shuckrat squeaks in terror and hurries across the tracks. Lane fishes in the food bag, plucks a carrot, sticks it into his mouth like a cigar, and fake puffs on it as the air tousles his dark hair. Then Cael sees. Ahead, the corn disappears, drops off the map. The earth sinks. The Heartland isn't much for topography. A few hills here, a shallow valley there, but for the most part everything is as flat as a sheet of hammered tin. The train tracks continue over the gulf. He knows what it is even before they get close. It's a slurry river. Corn processing plants dot the Heartland. Pops explained the process a few times, but mostly Cael just tuned out. He didn't like hearing about breaking down protein bonds or microbial fuel cells or whatever else Pop tried to tell him. Talking about corn was about as much fun as talking about dirt, and Cael used that time to let his mind wander and think about Gwennie and her sweet-smelling soap and the smooth roundness of her freckled skin on the rare occasions that they managed to find time together and get each other out of their clothes. But one thing he knows for sure is that the processing plants make one hell of a lot of waste. Silage and starchy soups and chemical syrups. Anything that can't be used from the corn is pumped out of the plants in rivers of gray-brown slurry that end up in massive concrete holding tanks, which are eventually filled up, capped, and buried. He's seen them up close before when he was out scavenging with his crew. Bubbling muck crawling. A stink that's both sweet and sickly, wrong in a way that the mind knows but can't properly put together. They're going to pass over just such a river in about 30 seconds, he figures. He points, calls it out. "Slurry river ahead!" Lane gives him a shrug, and Rigo peeks between the fingers of his hands. Lane says, "Should be all right. Tracks go over it on a trestle." "Maybe we should slow down anyway," Rigo says. "I said we'll be all right, so we'll be all right," Lane yells. "I'm kind of scared." Lane waves him off. "That's life in the Heartland. Besides, being scared usually means you're experiencing a life worth living, so shut your jabberjaw and enjoy the—" "Oh, shit," Cael says. He doesn't need to explain. They all see it. The chrome reflects the sun. The black steel just eats it. Ahead, it's a small thing, a dark square in the distance. If it were only a stationary object, Cael wouldn't feel as if he was about to piss his britches. But it's an auto train, one of the motivator locomotives, which means it's coming fast, which means it's going to meet them on the bridge. Rigo yells one word. "Train!" Cael and Lane move fast, grabbing the cornstalk oar poles and jamming them against the hard earth. The stalks are tough but brittle, and they begin to disintegrate as soon as they meet the dirt. Cael tosses his and grabs his rifle. He thrusts it into Lane's hand. "We gotta bail," he says to Lane. Lane's eyes go as wide as moons. "Tuck and roll," Cael says, and gives Lane a hard shove off the raft. His friend disappears into the corn. The stalks shudder and shake. He sees a glimpse of Lane's heels, and then he's gone. Rigo babbles a steady stream of entreaties. "Lord and lady, Lord and lady, Lord and lady," spits so fast the words start to lose meaning. "We gotta jump," Cael yells.